And I think, you know, I think us all around the table are really committed to that.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't really see kids coming out of the school systems and going into center-based spirit, really. I think what we have to be very aware of what is happening, that's an unsaid story, is there are a lot of kids that are coming out of school, and they're not going into center-based programs, but they are sitting at home. Or they may be working we found out one that broke our heart, Linda was telling me today, who was in a school transition and now is working 2 hours a week shredding paper. Those are situations that I think, and I don't know how to deal with that because those aren't being talked about. It's just that they're successful, they're in the community. That's 2 hours.
But I think for those things, what we really need to do is really work with the educational system and really encourage DPI to hold, you know, to be held accountable for that, and really looking at options and choices for people. You know, so I do think that we all need to.
You know, I think that this article that you all have, obviously, you know, the job of a paper is to sell papers, right? So they want to present the controversy and they want to show each side and try to give highlights from each side. One of the things that didn't make it in here, which really relates to the points that Tom and Barb are both making, is that, you know, Opportunities Inc. Currently has contracts with, I think, 19 school districts in order to help students transition into community-based employment. And I know that the reporter knew that, but it didn't fit nicely into the story, you know, of trying to paint the picture as black and white. It's not black and white. It's shades of gray. And in fact, you know, as y'all probably have heard me say several times, places like Opportunities Inc. provide most of the supported employment that's funded by DVR in the state. So it's not like we're either one thing or another, but there are some funding barriers to getting some of these things done, and I think that's one of the things that needs to be looked at.
Right, and you know, and I'll share with you what I shared with Thomas and Barbara when we met, is that, you know, I think, disability community, you know, when we look at you know, CRPs and just employment in general, you know, the first thing that we look at is the center-based programs and the day programs. And, you know, I think we need to kind of step back and say, what other opportunities exist for people? And, you know, unfortunately, I think it's an image for the disability community in that we're just focused on the center-based programs and individuals in those programs and not really looking at, there's other opportunities for people. You know, other transition. Right. And so that's what I shared, is that, you know, if we can get past and say, yes, they exist, they're there, they serve a purpose. You know, they're effective. But let's really look at, you know, how can we look at the youth coming out of school and making sure that there's transition plans in place, whether they want to go to college, whatever they want to do, that they have those choices. And I think that's what we're trying to look at now, recognizing that we're not going to change, you know, 50, 60, 30 years that occurred. Let's look at today and how can we go forward and really move and get choices for people. And that's what I want to do. You know, everything that's been going on between survival, disability, you know, and all of that with RFW and the center-based programs, that's all great, but I think it does a disservice to the disability community in trying to figure out how can we get past that. You know, I think it's great that, you know, the A-team is here and that there's 7 other going around the state, because of what it does, it really brings groups together and really talking about the positive things that's happening. And I think that we focus so much on the negative, for example, family care. You know, we spent a lot of time talking tonight about what's happening within family care and the rates. And, you know, for every person who is getting a notice for discharge, there are probably 3 others who are living successful lives in the community because of family care. And so I think too often we kind of focus on the negative, what's happening, and now stepping back and saying, hey, you know, let's celebrate what we have. And, you know, the more we continuously talk about the negatives within family care, we have to be very careful. Because if all we do is talk about the negative within family care, what's going to happen? They're going to say, well, enough. You know, it's not working. And completely do away with the program. And that's going to be a complete disservice to people who are successful.